So we did a video with my mini-me of a smaller scale of a compost tea. Now we're going to do a supercharged compost tea since that we have a bigger equipment allow us to do a bigger quantity of compost tea from our own compost. So in this video we're going to show you how to do a super compost tea recipe, and we're going to start right now. What's going on, YouTube gardener? This is your boy Sydney from the Naked Gardener channel. Hopefully after watching this video you're going to learn how to make a supercharged compost tea recipe. Now this is something that we normally used to do about once a month. What we normally do is we'll put a little bit of this 511 in here, and we'll put a little bit of either a liquid seaweed or some kelp. And what this will do is allow some trace minerals along with some micronutrients into your tea as you're brewing. And then we'll add some of this molasses. With this molasses we'll add some sugar to feed onto the good bacteria while you're aerating the bacteria to keep it active and lively. And this is something new that we've been trying. We cut down off of using the Epsom salt and the ironite, and we're using this chelated iron. Now this is a good source of iron, magnesium, and sulfur, so it's going to help bring that the soil pH down a little bit. So that way, if your pH is a little bit too alkaline, it's going to bring it down to either a neutral or more down to a acidic form. So that way, all your nutrients that we're adding into here be able to feed the soil, and your soil be able to feed off to the into your plants. Now, if you don't have compost, if you don't make your own compost, you can go to your local nurseries, or should be a particular company that will produce some type of compost for you, compost tea for you. And you don't have to dilute it as much. You can just use, like, per gallon wise, you can use anywhere from 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon of this per gallon. Same with all of these. This is about 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon, 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon. We'll put the description down below of what the ratio that you need, just in case if you don't have if you're not using a large garbage can like we have. Some goat is very hungry right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill up our water into the trash can. Normally we'll have some rainwater. If you don't have that accessible and you're using your city water, we'll show you how you can, if you're using a large quantity, you can use some vitamin C powder if that's anywhere that you can find. If you can't find that, you can go to your local pet store, and they have like an aquarium water conditioner, because most city water is going to either have some chlorine or chloramine into their water. If you don't have a filter that's coming out of your hose faucet, then you just basically, what you want to do is leave your water sitting out for about 24 hours, and to help that will dissolve and to evaporate into the air, and you can add some air into it to help speed up the process. So we're going to put some water into our bucket and then add these fertilizer into it, and put our own compost into the bucket and let that brew for 6 to 48 hours. And once we see the bubbles start to be real frothy, that means that the good bacteria that's in the water is very active, and then we're going to show you how to put it onto the plants with it. All right, so let's get growing.
Perfect.
Alright, so we got the water into our little trash can here. It's roughly about 32 gallons. We don't collect our own rainwater, so we just basically use the city water from the faucet. So if you're doing that, all you have to do is grab some just vitamin C powder at about anywhere from 3 packets, depending on how big your thing. But 1 packet enough should be good, but we're going to add 3. And what this does is get rid of the chlorine into the water that the city treats it for any type of bacteria. You want to do this to neutralize any of the chlorine in the water before you add your good bacteria in there, because that chlorine is going to basically kill off all the good bacteria. And then we're going to add the compost, and then we're going to add our fertilizer, which is basically the fish emulsion to give it the nice nitrogen. We're going to do the seaweed liquid kelp that is going to give us the trace minerals and the micronutrients, the Epsom salt to give it the magnesium, the chelated iron to help green up everything. And then we're just going to let it sit in here. We're going to add the pump with the filter, the aerated, so we're going to have a nice actively aerated compost tea. And then we'll do it, let it brew for about 48 to anywhere to 72 hours. And then once you see the froth of the bubbles, that's when you know your compost is very activated on here. All right, so let me get these all poured in, and we'll show you how to get it activated, aerated.
Perfect. Perfect.
Alright, we've let it pass about 3 days now. It's been raining off and on, so this is actually a good time to fertilize with this compost tea. Now there's two ways you can use this compost tea. You can apply it at the base of your plants, or you could do a foliager spray where you can spray the plants where you're having that good bacteria from it being all nice and actively composted right now. Spraying the leaves, that way the good bacteria start eating away of any bad bacteria off of there, for at least that's what we've been told. So all you have to do is, we can actually take this out now. About 72 hours is the most you want to let this brew. So we just water. About 5 seconds should be good enough, since it's been raining about 4 inches of rain. So the soil is already nice and saturated, so you don't have to do a deep fertilizer of this. And just count to 5. That's if your soil is already saturated.
If it wasn't saturated,
Then you would probably do like, well, you never want to fertilize if your soil isn't wet, because you don't want the plant to feed off of the fertilizer in there, and you want it to be able to soak down deep into the soil. So that's why I normally water first before I fertilize any of our plants. If y'all have any other recommendation, comment down below, so that way if any of our first time viewers or first time gardeners have a wondering how any of the other content creators or other experienced gardeners fertilize, let us know down below. Alright, so you could get one of these little sprayers. I think these are like a quart, maybe 2 quarts of sprayer. You could dunk it in here, or you could do one of a gallon or 2-gallon sprayer. Either way, it's just a nice little spray to add to your plants. And you can use this for any plants, even house plants. So like, for instance, over here we got these elephant ears. They kind of looking kind of dingy. So we're just going to spray these once I get this on here. And I love this spray because it's a very small, compact. You pump it up to get the air in there and just spray the leaves. And you could adjust it to a fine mist like that, or however way you want to do it. You can get the back side of it. Once again, with the foliar spray, you don't have to soak it. I mean, well, you would like to soak it. Make sure you get full coverage of the leaves. Front, back, side to side. And that's just going to add the nutrients straight direct to the plant. Now with this, you don't have to do it every other week. You probably want to do something like this about once a month. That way it gives you a nice deep feeding for your plants. Other than that, you can do other fertilization of your plants. We did other videos about that. We'll put the links down below. We're going to finish up on this and try to get out of here before the rain. So, but if you like these type of garden tips videos, we'll put a playlist above here. If you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you don't miss an upload. Give us a like, thumbs up on this video. We're going to finish this out, and until the next video, let's grow together.